day and welcome back to Elementary 72 Gaming. Now for today's video, I'm just trying to hold my excitement. We have the logistics, but beyond the logistics, the insurance system and the fact that we have a quality of life update literally is like the game is saved. I know it might have been in the title of the previous video, but I just have to say it. So please leave a like, subscribe to my channel, comment. We're about to hit 6 months of the game and it looks like it might just have a chance to have a comeback. So let's get into the logistics. Now, when it comes to logistic ships, here's something to note. You could use them for some combat, and that's 100% of something that they can do. Besides being able to heal, you can always use them for combat. But beyond all of that, with everything that they have on them, they could be phenomenal healers. Example, with the 6 slots on the ship, if I deployed full remote shield boosters, I could heal up an armada in no time. Any ship that comes in range of me, activate, it's going to be healed almost instantly. Group shield reps, I can stack them up on the ship. It may be heavy in terms of fuel, but it's fantastic. I could do that to augment it because it has those group bonuses. And with everything running on it, it's just going to be a phenomenal ship. So let me just explain exactly what I would do on the ship. As you can see, it has one drone slot. That's going to be my primary weapon, a drone on the ship. It has 6 weapon slots. Please note there's going to be a slight change in it. I have 2 variant formats on it, and you'll understand exactly what I'm going on when I go to it, and I'll explain it to you. You have 5 mid slots, which is absolutely phenomenal for logistics. With it you can do unbelievable things, and while I explain it you'll understand what I mean. 4 low slots in terms of your low slots for your ship, with the additional advantages from the rigs, which I will explain later as we go through the build. You'll understand exactly why that's important, and it's 3x3 on rigs. Okay, so first of all, shield booster optimal range plus 300%. Right, that's a standard roll bonus, you can't get it any bigger. Plus 150% group shield booster effective range, another massive one. 150%, that means 1.5 times extra distance. Beautiful shield around it, it's definitely going to heal you effectively. Group capacitor transmitter effective range plus 150%, fantastic on that one there again. Another massive heal for your fleet. So advanced remote shield operation will give you minus 8% shield booster activation time, so it's going to be a lot faster, and that's per level. Minus 10% remote shield booster capacitor need. Now this is massive. When you see the actual need on the remote shield booster, you'll understand why. When it becomes 50% less, it means this is going to be unbelievable, and you'll see the 2 formats that I have and how it affects it. Okay, so from the command of the ship, you get plus 75% transmitter optimal range and plus 20% capacitor transmitter transmission effect. So with this here, you can actually keep ships running much longer. You can do a lot when it comes to both the logistics side in terms of actual regenning ships, running as a group, and transmitting your capacitor. Now please note that even though these are the options, my way in building up the ship is going to be slightly tweaked. It's obviously going to be a little bit less than what you would expect. I'm obviously going to say that you have full advanced battle cruiser skills, so 100% effectiveness, and that optimal range on transfer is going to go up by massive amounts. With plus 75%, if we double it, that's 150. 300%, 375% at the maximum. So it's a massive amount of range. 375% is 3 times the range on that weapon. That's enough for you to keep in range of someone and have someone drift out of the fields for a shield field and still have quite a bit of resistance. So that is something to note about the ship. Now on the overall defense, it has 28,000 defense to start with. This is going to be a nice solid chunk to start with. It means you can't really go after the logistics as your primary target. It's very tanky, it's very difficult to break. it's going to help you out in your fleet. And if you go after it, it's generally in a shield bubble, so you have to take out the shield field unit which is being supported by it, making it unbelievably difficult for you to go through. You'll see exactly what I mean when I talk about how much of capacity it has. Flight velocity of 188 meters per second, it's standard. 3.2 AU warp speed, it's standard for this class of vessel. The power grid is 594 megawatts. With the additional 25% from engineering, you aren't going to be at 594 megawatts. You will be closer to the range of 750 megawatts. That's around the place where you're going to be, and that's standard on the ship. You'll see why it makes a big difference as I talk about it. If you have furthered your research and you're at 35%, you will be almost at 800 megawatts, making this unbelievably stable and a very powerful ship. You have a 7085 gigajoule capacitor. Add 25% to it for your standard boost to it. The ship got unbelievable boost at that point. If you're going with prop mods, I am going to give you suggestions on prop mods and you'll understand where I'm going with it. So with 7000 being the base, at 25% being added, it's going up by a crazy figure. That's 1000, around 1700 being added to it. I'm not getting that figure correct in my head at the moment, so around 1700 extra capacity on it. That's going to take you to 8700. It's nearly a 9000 gigajoule capacitor. So this is going to be phenomenal for you when you're using your group effectiveness, especially since you're going to be researched into using this type of a logistic ship. Now let's go on to the price. Now the price as it's estimated right now is 496 million. Sorry about that. And as we go into the patch with T9 opening, you're going to see that the price of the ship will have a big increase to about the 750 mil mark. Now the simple reason for the 750 mil mark is going to be this ship is phenomenal. This ship is going to have that type of an output when it comes to it. Now I am going to go through the little advanced at the bottom. Special mode in charging mode. Now charging mode reduces speed, it reduces everything and it drops it down in speed considerably. You will see exactly why this is a useful mode if you use one of these ships. I'm not going to talk about it and make it a massive advantage. It does have its disadvantages to run charge mode, so please note everything that I say in this video is to use it without charge mode, because charge mode adds a bit of an extra, but it takes a lot out from your combat capability. Okay, now there is a second shield logistic ship. I'm just going to touch it quickly and then you'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. The Hurricane Logistics. As you can see, its remote shield booster optimal range is 600%. So this here can sustain a ship far out of your bubble, far out of your field of range. It's 654 just like the other ship, 3x3 on the rigs. And it's going to have almost exactly the same format for build. 75% shield booster effective range, group capacitor transfer effective range plus 75%. Advanced shield operation bonus, plus 15% shield boost amount, minus 7.5% remote shield booster capacitor need. Now, unlike the other one, it isn't a 50% reduction, there is a 37.5% reduction. It still is massive considering that there's a boost effect in the higher limit of the boost. Now remember, this here goes up since it's by 5, that's 75% additional boost. So this isn't a small boost, it's a massive boost addition. And even though the other version has 50% less cap, they are about equal when it comes to boosting a ship. Okay, advanced battle cruiser command will give you plus 150% remote capacitor transmitter optimal range and plus 15% effectiveness. Now, just like the other one, 450% on that capacitor, massive boost for you. You could always use it when fighting bigger ships, especially if you're trying to help out the battleship in combat. These are going to be the ships for you to use. So please just hang on to how I build up these ships. Okay, as you can see, exact same power grid output. Now, since the power grid output is the same, you can expect them to be identical. So you are near 750 megawatts on the completed unit with the advanced engineering. If you are going beyond advanced engineering, you will have more power. So that is for you to note and for you to hold on to. When it comes to the capacitor, it's exactly the same as the previous ship. It just has a slightly smaller cargo capacity hold. The one big advantage is the flight velocity being a little bit higher. So this will be able to be used in a mobile fleet. And when you see the way I pair it up and the way I make the boost go for these ships, you'll understand exactly what I was talking about with keeping an eye on the power grid. Okay, so let's get into it. The primary weapon for assault on these ships is a drone. A drone costs 1 megawatt. We're going to count it as nominal increases, and we're going to take it off our list to worry about. So your drone can be any one of the drones. You can fill your drone bay up with a variety of drones. Since you can only deploy one at a time, doesn't really make much of a difference. Okay, so let's go to the high slots. And we're going to go straight down to the first type of high slot we want, and that is a remote shield booster. Now, you could go small if you want to be conservative on your capacitor, but as you can see, it's only 54. The one is going to give you a massive boost to it, but that's not really going to cut it for you. Medium, well, yes, medium is fantastic for the combat situation. 182 isn't something to scoff at. With 6 on the ship, it would be fantastic. But no, this isn't exactly where I want to go. So yes, I am talking about something really heavy for the ship, and that is going to be the large C-type remote shield boosters. Now, I'm just opening the market. As you can see, they are available. So this is an available option for you to use. If you don't want to use them, you could always just use the MK9 at the start of MK9. So it's a 75 megawatt requirement on your grid. There are 6 of them to each ship. 6 times 7 is 420 plus 30, 450 megawatts to the power grid. 450 megawatts gone from your ship. That means you are left with the remainder of the cap for everything else on the ship. Now, this is the first option for deploying them, and that's with the full group, the full remote C-type shield boosters. So this is option 1. It is a phenomenal amount of regen. If you're looking at it, it's 457. With your research from your remote shield usage, you have quite a boost to it as well. It should be about 500 a shield. That makes it about 3000 regen. That's enough to counteract most ships, and that is definitely going to give you an edge in combat, considering that they run on an 8-second activation time with a 581 gigajoule cost. Remember, reduce it by 50% for the Drake. That is going to give you a very low yield, just under 300 gigajoules per activation, and there's only 6 of them. So that's 1800. Considering you're going into the 8000s, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is still stable. The 5th one, you start to reach the unstable figure. So 5 complete boosts. 5 complete boosts is 15,000 shield. So you can recover 15,000 of your allied shields with this particular mode. And then there's still recharge mode to pull in your capacitor again. If you were facing that heavy type of fire, you could always do it in your group shield field. Okay, so there we go. The first big booster to it is 15,000 shield with full capacitor drain. So there was the first option on it. That is where a lot of the power is. Now, if you were using it with the second option, the Hurricane, remember it has a massive boost to it, 75% extra shield with all of the bonuses added, so it's about 500 plus 75. Now, obviously, it isn't something for me to scoff at again. You're also in those massive figures. Your power drain is full 581 gigajoules. Times it by 6, it's going to give you about 4 heals, but the figures are going to be quite similar. Let me just do it quickly off the top of my head. 500 will become 875. 875 times 2. 1,750, 3,500, 5,250. Whoa, okay, that is quite heavy. 5,250 in activation, and let's count them all together. They're about 600 gigajoules in activation, so 612. Actually, it goes down considerably with the research. So 600 times 5 is 3,000. 3,000 in activation. That's going to give you 2. With the reduction from your research, about 15,000. As I said, they're about the same. It's around about the 15,000 mark because there's a slight leeway when it comes to the actual reductions from your research. So you're going to get about 15,000 regen with the Hurricane, and it's going to be a lot faster. So the Hurricane is capable of sustaining fast loss, while the Drake is capable of sustaining a slow loss over time. Okay, and that is to full capacitor drain. So if you ended up in that horrible situation where you had to sustain everybody for damage through the group shield field, it's going to drain you super fast. You only have 3 activations with the Hurricane. That's if you're taking massive hits, and obviously that's going to sustain you quite a bit. 5,000 regen is enough to keep my Moa alive for let's say my Moa would be almost fully healed with each one of those. So about 2 minutes in very heavy fire. So yeah, it could keep my Moa Guardian 2 alive in very heavy fire for about 2 minutes. Okay, so that's where the large C-type would go. So that is the first thing to note about the 2 ships. Now mid slots, there are 5 of them, and since both of them have group transmitter abilities, let's go to remote transmitters. I'm not going to go crazy with these, and I'm not 100% sure on which one I did look at. Nope, this isn't the right one. Okay, this is the right one. Deploying 2 of these is definitely going to be a big help. Remember, you get quite a big distance out of it, and if you're deploying it to try and hold someone on the assault path, it's going to give them a big boost to their cap. It's going to keep them capable of running their shields for a little bit longer. It makes you recover a lot of your teammates' cap quite quickly. You're almost at 100% efficiency, so remember, it is going to be quite good for you. Energy transfer amount is 131 gigajoules. Remember, there's fall off as well with this. So with this here, you're going to have this big boost to your range. In the close range, it's going to become quite crazy. Remember, it's 3 times, so 15 kilometers for 100%, and then you have the 7.5 for fall off, which is going to grow 5 times. It's 35. So you have quite a big range to keep your capacitor transfer. So both of them will run only 2 of these, and that's the end of the actual transmitter mods for that particular part. The next thing to add to the ship is group shield boosters and group capacitor transmitters. Now for this particular build, this is where things get a little bit tricky. You could put on I'm just going to explain this here. You could put on large of any one of these group boosters. They only cost 1 megawatt to your particular area. Now you can't buy the Bannerman or any of the elites because they aren't in the game at the moment, or if they are in the game, they're extremely rare and they don't show up on the market. So you're going to go to MK9. Remember, MK9 will be available at this time, only available within squad 1. So obviously only within 1 squad. You can use this here to heal the squad's capacitor or shield, whichever way it goes. So you deploy this every 20 seconds, it will reactivate. 321 is the boost. With the remote transmitter research, you do get a group bonus, so this here will pull up by quite a bit. Okay, So if you wanted to run the most optimal performance in this region, you're going to go one group shield, one group transmitter, and one group armor wrap. Now the reason for that one group armor wrap is in case you end up in that serious situation where you end up taking too much damage to your Guardian and your Guardian seems like it's about to be destroyed. So you then wrap everything and you push out the wraps to the next ship in your league. Okay, interdiction models don't work with this, so we don't have to worry about that. Now if you are wondering how big the capacitor usage is, in all of that it was 63 megawatts from everything in this group. That added to the 450 will take you to just over 510 megawatts. So that is where you cut off for your ship. So that's 210 megawatts for me to use for my remainder of the ship, and you'll see exactly where it goes. Now you only have 4 slots. So since these are group shield transmitters, you're going to go shield booster, you're going to go medium, and there you go. It's done. Right? So that's what you're putting on. Sorry. $55 megawatts, done. And you're obviously going to put another 1 megawatt on there in terms of a shield hardener. You are done. The reason is you want effective defense on this ship so that you have that extra capability in case someone decides to use you as the weak point to your fleet. So there you go, you've got 2 slots. Now you have 2 more remaining in terms of your low slots. The first of the 2 is going to go straight to a capacitor battery. Sorry. Now this is where things get a little bit hairy in terms of the actual figures. When you put on this 83 megawatt, it really reduces what you can do with the rest of your field. Remember, you have 56 plus 83, that takes it up to 89 plus the 6, 149 megawatts. That leaves you with 60 megawatts almost to the end of your cap. I do have a little bit of a mission on that range, so you will understand where I'm going with this once I show you the last piece. An afterburner. Now the afterburner will work on either one of the 2. And looking at the amount required, it's 83 megawatts. Now you weren't left with exactly 200 megawatts on the ship. There was a little bit more than 200 because you were just at that you were at 510 megawatts with the mid slots added. If you counted everything in the start, we were well over 750. So you did have a little bit of leeway. It could fit in, it could fit out. You just might have to go into expert and learn 1 or 2 levels just to fit on this afterburner. You don't want to extend your grid with the rig. And here are the important parts. Now let's go back to one of the modifications you can make. Considering that these are battle cruisers and they're really powerful ships, you could always go and add on missile launchers. Now I know that the one isn't a missile ship, but this is just an option for anybody who runs logistics. You can try and reduce the impact onto your cap repair. At 1,500 you are more than enough for that ship. If you're going to go beyond that to 2,000, you're still more than enough. You're equal to a shield extender. You're doing way more than you need to for that particular vessel. So as an addition, you could always run missile launchers. As you can see, they're very low usage, 58 megawatts a piece, and these are long range assault capability. Plus they can fight in the close range. Their flight velocity is 4,300 meters per second, and that is just their standard. So you could replace 3 of your missiles or 2 of your missiles, 2 of your high slots with missiles to run some DPS. And the only reason why you're going to run any DPS at all is to just assist your fleet a little bit if you aren't taking on something crazy. If you're going on into a war, go full transmitter. If you are going to go ratting and you know that the maximum damage you're going to have to sustain for the lead in your fleet is about 2,000 every 10 seconds, then go with this method where you're at least running 2 missiles. that little bit of extra GPS can help them take out maybe one or two of the close flying frigates. And that's what you want to do, adding that little bit extra DPS to help you in the middle of let's see, what would it be? A dead space. Running with the Nightmare with this here, you have that ability to cover its weakness on anything getting close. You could actually take out drones with it as well. It may take a few shots, but you definitely will take out a drone with those missiles. They way faster than the drones cannot escape them. Okay, so that was the basics for your changing of weapons. Now in terms of combat rigs, obviously you have a shield tanking vessel. You're going to go capacitor need reduction, effective increase in shield, and one last thing, let me just go look at this defensive rig once more, forgetting the last one. Time adjustment, right, that's it. Core defense, defensive charge for shield bonus, and defense capacitor for a reduction on the requirement of your capacitor per recharge. So there you go. With all of this added, you have a nice recharge capability on the ship, and it means that if it takes too much of damage or if the shield goes down way too fast, you can always regen the shield. Now, I haven't actually used these ships effectively in combat where people have taken damage. I don't know whether the transmitter is only effective if you have opening amounts of damage. I've never run logistics myself. The only thing I've ever run was group capacitors, because I found them to be really useful, and group shield boosters because they augment my regen capability. At 1500 I'm pretty stable against most combat situations. I'm almost triple my effective capability with that little bit added. With this amount of effective extra EHP added to your build, it will make a big difference, and you want that time down as fast as possible so you can recharge your shields on your logistics. Okay, now in terms of engineering rigs, navigation isn't really that important. If you're going to move, they're going to be moving slow, because moving slow is better than moving fast with these particular ships. So as a result of that particular functionality, you're going to go with standard engineering rigs. You're not going to go with navigation rigs for the ship. In your engineering, you're going to go 3 semiconductor controls, no capacitor control circuits. Now, why would you go 3 semiconductor controls? Well, that's 20% added plus 20% added plus 20% added. And if you count 20% of 8,000, that is no small figure. That's 1,600 added per each, and that's 4,800. 4,800 added to your total. That's taking you well over the 12,000 mark when it comes to how much of capacitor you have. It is crazy the amount of power you have with that ship, and it will extend your recharge capability beyond 15,000. It means you can run your group, you can run your shield regen non-stop on your ship. It won't really hurt you. You could sacrifice your power from the micro warp drive for another shield booster. It's going to push you right through. It's going to reduce your power need, but that is one of the options. Remember, the afterburner is there if you are moving from points. If you aren't going to be burning out of points, if you're willing to take on the close range combat, not take on the close range, the long range combat with your fleet, you're not going to run the modules for speed. That's all you need. It's going to give you that perfect little balance, and there you go. Those are all the things that you need to know for just a basic T9 logistics. Now, the recharge mode is something that you do add to the ship's efficiency. They can recharge their capacitors extremely fast in recharge mode. The big catch is they drop in terms of speed. They drop in terms of being able to move around, and you have to be stationary when they're doing it. So if you are in a heavy engagement, when they drop to that rate, all of their functions are reduced and they can't do anything in terms of healing. They only recharge their cap really quickly in that time, and that's why you want that massive cap for them to recharge. It's going to make the recharge mode a beast when it does activate. You'll only need it for about 30 seconds to recharge enough to actually use the ship again for a few seconds. Okay, so that was it for logistics, for the first one in the logistics series. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will catch you on the next one, hoping that more good changes are coming to Eve.